Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Thank you so much for joining us. And we bring you the final session of the third test between Australia and South Africa from the SCG in Sydney. Tea break has ended. Australia still need 9 wickets. Can South Africa hang on? We'll have to wait and see. And so 255 all out. South Africa went into today's play with only 4 wickets in hand. And Australia still need 9. So South Africa managing to stick with it for now. So the question is, can Australia take 9 wickets in these 30-odd overs that remain? We'll update our overs remaining in the day in just a moment for you, and then we will see what happens. Sarel Erwee and Heinrich Klaasen are at the crease for South Africa. Dean Elgar has lost his wicket again. Just 10 runs off 25 balls. So that's another blot in the copybook of the South African captain. And pretty much in the same way that they took his wicket in the first innings, apparently, in that leg stump area. Pat Cummins and his team have already won the series. They'd love to win this match as well. They can still win it, but they need to take wickets, and they need to take wickets quickly. Let's see at what point the captains shake hands and congratulate each other. So let us know what you think on Facebook and YouTube comments. And that goes straight into our little studio here. And tell us where you're listening from and what you think is going to happen in this match. I'm just going to take a quick break to go and get some coffee, and I will be right back. Australia started the day needing 14 wickets. They've only managed 5 so far. So the first 2 balls after tea, Nathan Lyon with 2 dot balls to Heinrich Klaasen, the right-hander. There's a slip in and a square leg. Heinrich Klaasen back into his crease and defends this one outside off stump. The score is 46 for 1 at the moment, and there are 31 overs remaining after this one. So not a super attacking field here by Australia at the moment, which is a little bit surprising. Again, Klaasen goes back into his crease and defends on off stump. No run. Klaasen is there on 18, and so is Sarel Erwee, both of them scoring 18 runs so far. But of course, that is of little consequence as Lyon comes into Klaasen once again off middle stump this time. Back into his crease goes Klaasen, and defends this out to the onside, no run. Lion into Klaasen. Wide outside off stump. Klaasen leaves it alone. Goes through to the keeper. No run. And it's starting to look more and more like a draw there in Sydney. I know that the Australian team are far superior, but I just don't see them taking all 9 wickets in 30 overs. But let's see. Maybe that's just me being hopeful. So we'll see who else is going to join me this morning. And it's a partly cloudy day here in Pretoria, where I am, but in Sydney the sun is out. Travis Head is going to bowl his first over of innings. It was quite expensive, the one over that bowled in previous innings before the follow-on was enforced. No, so that's super disappointing that South Africa couldn't even avoid the follow-on. Yeah, well, what can you say? Travis Head round the wicket to the left-handed Arvia, who defends this one on his off stump and out to the offside, and there's no run. So we'll just check that our overs remaining are in fact correct. Head into Arvia once again. Forward defensive shot by Sarel Arvia. No run. It's the start of the 17th over. Arvia there on 18 of 46, Klaasen 18 of 27. Head into Arvia on off stump line there. Not much turn that I can see right now, but Arvia defends this one for no run. Just the slip in and the short square leg. Arvia goes onto the back foot and drives this one to point. They take a single. First runs after tea. 47 for 1. So Pat Cummins doesn't look like he's really interested in taking a lot of hits. I think he can have a much more attacking field here if he's really serious about getting all these South Africans out. The South African team still trail by 173 runs as Travis Head comes in again, and I lose my feed. Just refresh this. And that was also a dot delivery. This partnership is now 20 runs of 8.5 overs, and South Africa going along at 2.76 runs per over. And that is the end of Travis Head's over. He has conceded just the 1 run. 17 overs gone in follow-on innings, and the score is 47 for 1. So we'll have a look here. Lion will probably continue. I'll have to go and take a look at the first inning scorecard before the follow-on. The spinner for Australia is in fact continuing, bowling his 6th over, and his first delivery to Sarel Arvia is a dot ball. Sarel Arvia is there on 19 now, or 49. Left-hander facing up to Nathan Lyon, coming right arm round the wicket. Now there's a silly mid-off in place, as well as a square leg and short square leg and a slip. So that's a bit more attacking field there from Australia, which is what they need. They need the wickets. South Africa will go for the draw as far as they can. And Lyon wide outside off stump. Good back foot cut shot there by Arvia, and they go through for a single. Arvia moves on to 20 runs. So let's see, the first batting innings as Lion goes to the right hand. Clausen cuts this one to backward point. Big waft of the bat there, but they don't take the run. Nathan Lyon took 2 wickets. But that was just the wicket of Kagiso Rabada. He embarrassed Sarel Erwee. This one is outside off stump, no run. So let's see. As Lion comes in over the wicket to Heinrich Klaasen, who defends this one a little bit awkwardly. It just bobbles out to the onside, and there is no run. And Ravi has decided to join me. Good morning, Ravi.
Good morning, Otto. Sorry, I forgot to press the button. I've been waiting for 10 minutes here, and I forgot to press the button.
Oh, it's smartly dressed there. Where are you off
to? No, I'm down from. In fact, I had guests over last night, as you know, and I drank a lot, and I was wearing this, and I'm just wearing this morning as well. Fuck it. Sorry.
Okay.
Didn't mean to offend your South African listeners.
Start of the 19th over. Travis Head will continue. Bizarre here from Pat Cummins. Not sure why he's bowling Travis Head. But they get a single down to point, and Klaasen is on strike. Erwee is now on 21 of 52. Klaasen on 18 of 32. Start of the 19th over. 49 for 1.
It looks like it's probably a nailed on for South Africa, doesn't it? But,
you're breaking up a bit there, Ravi. I'm struggling to hear you. As the ball is outside off stump, and there's no run.
Can you hear me now better at all?
That's a little bit better, yeah. Travis Head into Klaasen, plays this one to point. No, well, they take at least a single. They're coming back for the second. And that's the 50 up for South Africa in 18.3 overs.
Yeah.
2 runs to Klaasen there.
Great thing to celebrate, isn't it? What we want to celebrate is that South Africa will probably get the draw, thanks to the weather.
Yes, thanks very much to the weather. That took enough time out of this test match to allow South Africa to go for this draw. As Klaasen defends Travis Head outside off stump, and there is no run. At that point,
South Africa have no chance in the World Test Championship now, do they have many tests coming up?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. We're playing the West Indies next in February, as Klaasen plays this one straight to the fielder at mid-off. No run there. 51 for 1 is the score. 1 ball to go in the 19th over.
But even Sri Lanka is above you right now.
Oh, yes. Travis Head into Klaasen and drives this one to extra cover. And there's no run there. I can't see Travis Head taking a wicket. I don't know why he's bowling. Maybe Cummins is resting himself and Hazelwood.
Or Australia are just trying to use him as partnership breaker. Not actually as a long-haul bowler. I don't know. Travis Head should not be bowling at this stage if Australia want 9 more South African wickets in 16 overs or whatever. But
yes.
The fact is, Australia will be against it, except if the baseball. They'll try so they won't go forward. Whereas they could, of course. They can't lose this test, so they might as well just throw everything they have at it. Get all the fielders in. Go full on. But they're not going to do that. They're going to do Australia, we love the process, we're going to follow this, we're going to follow that. And they'll basically not win because of that.
Lion in again. That first ball was a dot, and Erwee is forward to defend that one from Nathan Lyon, who continues with the 20th over. And Lyon himself also not a real wicket-taking option in this match so far. Taking one tail in the wicket, and then that bad leave by Sarel Erwee, who goes back onto his crease and cuts this to point for a single. So let's see, what did Agar do in that first?
Loads of wickets, but that's also because he played loads of tests.
Ashton Agar also didn't take a wicket. So both the Australian spinners not taking not real wicket-taking options in this match.
In Australia, to be honest, there's a part of Shane Warne done well in Australia.
Nathan Lyon right arm over the wicket and left alone outside off stump. Heinrich Klaasen, no run. 2 balls to go in the 20th over, 52 for 1. Australia need the 9 wickets. South Africa need to hang on for at least another 28 overs. I'll just make sure that my overs remaining there are okay.
If it will last as long as 28, this is the post-tea session, and the light will eventually fade. If it's 20 overs,
yeah, the light meter seems to have fixed itself. We saw them carry it around yesterday, and I was saying maybe somebody just cleaned the sensor, just to get it to work properly. So that's the end of the 20th over. 52 for 1 is the score, and so it's nice and sunny there in Sydney today. I don't think they'll have a problem with the light today either way. They seem to have sorted that out. Sure. I'm getting like every third word of yours, Ravi.
Correct.
Do appreciate the company, though.
Well, I can Australia currently has a percentage win of 78. In 58, Sri Lanka 53, South Africa 50, England is 46 or whatever. What I see is that almost all those wins Australia has had are in Australia, apart from the one win in Pakistan. So Australia's averages or percentage points are hugely inflated. I dislike it anyway, not as a country, but as a test team. Do you know that no Australian, apart from Steve Smith, in the last 20 years, has averaged over 50 abroad? Marcus Lubbock averages over 70 in Australia. He averages only 44 from Australia.
That is very interesting. So they basically home track bullies.
Yes,
Hazelwood, Hazelwood to Erwee. He's replaced Travis Head. The insanity has ceased from Pat Cummins. So
I don't know if it's insanity. Maybe they're just, as I said, throwing everything at it.
Yeah, they may be rested, Hazelwood and Cummins now a little bit. Erwee leaves this one alone outside off stump, and there is no run. 52 for 1, start of the 21st over.
See, they're not going to get a new ball, the second new ball, right? And the spinners are no good.
No, they won't. Yeah.
And the spinners are not working on this track, so they have to use their pace men in rotation.
Yes, they will have to. But why bowl Travis Head? Still, that still baffles me. You can rather bowl Steve Smith. He looked a lot more dangerous when he bowled with his leg spin. In the previous match, he did look a lot more dangerous than Ashton Agar and David Lyon and Nathan Lyon did. Hazelwood into Arvia, that's full and outside off stump, and just defended out to mid off for no run, straight to the fielder.
See, the thing is, of course, he's the bowler and with right hand, left hand, right. So a leg spinner might not be that effective against him.
Against Arvia, because he's left-handed.
Yeah. Yes. And
so
Steve Smith
the gully is in.
Groupie.
Second slip is in, and Hazelwood puts this one onto off stump line full, and Arvia digs it out. No run. Back to the bowl.
Generally right arm off it. What? Right arm against righties, but so they should. But Steve Smith would make
Arvia leaves this very brave leave there by Sarel Arvia outside off stump. I'd love to see how close that was to his off stump, but let's say that was a good leave because he's still there. 22 of 60 now for Arvia, 52 for one, and one delivery to go in Hazelwood's third over of this follow-on. It's the second innings.
I don't worry about the follow-on because it was always going to happen. But that was the highest innings in this series.
As Hazelwood is into Arvia, and he dabs this one down into the offside. No run. End of the over. I need to go and fetch my charger. I'll be back in 1 second.
I will wibble on. So we've got South Africa following on us 255 in the first inning. Would you think South Africa's another 52 for get to start Steve Smith, as I said, the not scores away from home. They all score 60, 70 average. It galls me because Australia all the rest of it because they know and they will the World Championship and the ICC Batters ratings should take into account between home and away performance. No team, not even India, has such a difference in home and away performance as Australia, and in terms of this. Sorry, Otto, keep going. Tell us about
first delivery of Lions over in the 22nd over has gone for two, and this one Klaasen smacks through deep extra cover for probably another 2 runs, and he goes on to 24, and the score 56 for 1.
Yeah, Klaasen strokes 2 twos in a row. That's good. That just shows Lion that he's not going to get a free ride.
Yep. Slip in, silly, mid-off, and it's short square leg. As Klaasen plays it to extra cover once again, this time straight to the fielder. dot ball.
Yeah, because the Australians now have got they throw to the left-hander or they throw to the right-hander. You
Klaasen there jumping across his stumps to the leg side and just managing to keep that one out. Strange movement there by Klaasen as he just jumps away from his stumps after the ball pitches. This time he's back onto his stumps and just defends this defined leg, no run.
Because that was a shorter ball, wasn't it? And a quicker ball almost, slightly.
Yeah.
And he had
like
to
that.
adjust.
Yeah, it just looked very odd to see him jumping around like that. So Lion with the final delivery of his 8th over as Klaasen defends forward and there's no run. Still 9 wickets left to get for Australia.
And you know what? On Twitter, loads of wish about I love Zondo obdurate batting. I think even Mpo said, no, he's not the right player for South Africa right now because he doesn't do baseball kind of stuff. But you know what? In this situation, what you want coming in next are Temba Bavuma and Kaya Zondo, who will just say, heck with it, we are going to keep you away. We will not let you pass. You know?
No, that's
yeah.
I think that the longer Arvi and Klaasen can stay on, obviously that'll be great for both of them personally.
And for the team.
And now we see Steve. But yes, I think you're right because Bavuma has been much more careful about his wicket than most of the other top order players. Him and Kyle Verreynne are the only ones that we've sort of discussed, as we've discussed throughout the series. Bavuma and Verreynne are the only two who will probably keep their spots based on their performance on this tour.
Why not Zondo?
Steve Smith
what is it about Zondo? Steve Smith.
And he's going to Sarel Erwee. First delivery, dot ball, full outside off stump. Floated up to Sarel Erwee. This one, and it's driven very nicely on drive to the boundary for 4. 60 runs up for South Africa, 60 for 1.
Take 2 or
Smith in again, short and wide outside off stump. Erwee sweeps this around the corner to backward square leg for single.
Oh dear.
And that will bring Klaasen on strike now to the leg spinner, Steve Smith.
Even though he came into the team as a game for 10, he's not a center of great control, is he?
No. So Steve Smith there looking at his hand as if there's something wrong with it after that horrible delivery. Klaasen plays this one neatly past backward point and shaking his head, like a tennis player would look at their racket. He was looking at his hand like, well, what happened there? Because that was a horrible ball that bounced about halfway down the pitch. Klaasen plays that one down to backward point boundary area for 2. And slip is in for Steve Smith. That's a much better delivery there from Smith, bouncing on off stump and lifting and turning away from the right hand. A beautiful delivery there. So he's got it right now, and one more ball to go in the 23rd over. Looping, ballooning ball there from Smith, and played out straight to middle for no run. No, they took a single there. So Klaasen goes on to 27 of 49. Erwin also on 27 of 64, and the score is 64 for 1 after 23 overs.
Yeah. You know what, Otto? I keep trying to make technical points about bowling leg spinners against lefties and off spinners against righties. But the fact is, the pitch is not really doing much, is it?
Not for the off spinners there that I've seen today.
Yeah.
We'll take a closer look, but Smith there did get some turn with that final ball, or with that third last ball of the over. The next two were a bit too full tell. Let's see now. Lion has got those footmarks to work with outside the off stump of both the left and right hand, and there's a big appeal for LBW as he does find one of those footholes, and it goes on to the pads of Heinrich Klaasen. Start of the 24th over. 24 overs remaining in the day. So the decision has been reviewed by Australia. Let's just take a look here. How many reviews has who got left here? So Australia have 2 reviews left in this innings. We're going to look at this one.
Use one.
It strikes Heinrich Klaasen on the pads first. So if it's not outside the line, I think he's going to have to go, because that one pitched on one of the footmarks and it spun into the right-hander, and this impact is outside the line enough so that it's umpire's call on the
there. And he was attempting a stroke. So
on the impact outside the line, yes, he was attempting a stroke, so the decision will stand, not out. The review is retained. Shoo! Sigh of relief there for South Africa and Heinrich Klaasen, as Lion goes searching for that rough outside the off stump once again, and they take single. And that's very good use of the pitch. He doesn't get that kind of turn if he pitches it on the rest of the wicket, but that's a good decision in the end by the umpire. Just outside the line, struck him just outside the line enough.
Middle and off, he's not going to get turned. He's using his off leg.
Lion into Erwin now, who defends this one to the offside. They take the single. So both men moving on to 28. And Klaasen is back on strike, surviving that LBW shout. 23 overs to go for South Africa that they have to survive on day 5. Lion into Heinrich Klaasen. There's an edge, and is it taken at first slip? Yes, I think it is. Steve Smith has taken the catch at first slip. Lion strikes. He gets his man, and a defensive shot by Klaasen gets the outside edge off the bowling of Nathan Lyon to first slip, and the umpires will just take a look at the catch to make sure that it was a fair catch. It looked okay to me on first glance. And check what this thing is charging.
Hello?
Yes, I'm just sorting out some technical issues here, but
yeah,
they're having a look now at the catch of Steve Smith. Ooh, that one might be another one that the umpires will say was dropped. But no, I think he got both his hands around the ball and underneath. If you just check my charger is not good.
Oh, you need to sort out your technical issues, Otto.
Yes.
I don't know about mine. Yeah.
There we go. Hello.
Ah, hello. Yeah.
There we go. Well,
You tell me, Otto, what's the
let's see. They're still showing replays here of the catch. While I'm fixing my stuff. And I think that's a fair catch. He got his hands around the ball and underneath. Now, once again, there's a bit of the ball that just goes sort of slipping through his fingers and touches the ground, I think. That's what they're looking at. Was that touching the ground? It's difficult to tell whether it touched the ground or not. It sort of just, like pushed through his fingers, and as he tried to pick it up.
Unfair. This type. Because if it touches the grass, it can touch the grass through your fingers. It has to touch the earth itself, I think, to be deemed a non-catch. If it is just touching the grass, it should be allowed as a catch. But they never seem to talk about that. If the grass is an inch high, well, it's probably not actually, but if the grass is an inch high, your fingers will go under it. You still catch the ball, you know. So
yeah, they seem to have they seem to have gone the other way in this test, where if any part of the ball is touching the grass, it's not a catch, and once again, it's not out.
Oh my lord!
So that's the third catch now in this match.
I think that's unfair. I mean, I don't want Australia to take a wicket, to be honest, but I still think that's unfair. I still think that's unfair. Yes, but
of course, if the rules aren't properly enforced, it damages both teams. It can go against any, next time it's going to go against your team. So
but that's still luck of the draw. We want the rules and all these things in place to take luck away from it as much as possible. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And if there's
I agree with you. I agree. I think if you have control of the ball and it's only touching a few blades of grass, it's not bouncing off the ground, that's a catch.
Exactly.
Slip in, silly, but off in. Klaasen defends this one outside off stump. He survives yet another scare. Heinrich Klaasen, and he's still there on 28 or 53 with 23 overs to go. 9 wickets for Australia to get. 66 for 1. That doesn't matter, the score. Heinrich Klaasen goes forward defensive. No run there. And that is the end
South
of Lions' ninth over, and this 24 overs in the match. 66 for 1.
South Africa aren't going to make 250 in this last session. It's all about Australia wins or it's a draw. So the score is kind of irrelevant. But I want to ask you, Otto, what happened to all the guys who promised to be here? Anis, Mupendulu, Ken, where are they? Where are they?
Ken is a professional journalist, so he usually doesn't get to the last session because he needs to write his articles and send them out and such. And then the other guys, I mean, we're all volunteers, so,
Yes, so am I. No excuse whatsoever. Except for
things happen. Life is what happens while you're making other plans.
Yeah, we all love
Hazelwood continues now round the wicket to the left-handed Sarel Erwee, the ball moving a bit through the air, but after it pitched. And there's no run, left alone.
In a sense, the cricket of Africa, because great to help their percentage in the World Championship, maybe the match, maybe Australia. This is important. You know, but they can hold off Australia, even with their famously weak batting lineup.
Hazelwood into Erwee, defends this one outside off stump, no run. Second slip in and a gully still for Hazelwood. Ravi, I hope other people can hear you, but I'm catching like every third or second word that you're saying.
Sure, can you? I don't know why that is. I've got the same setup, and I've got the same Wi-Fi. In fact, I've got better Wi-Fi. Other than cable, obviously,
Hazelwood to Erwee, defends this one into the onside, no run. 22 overs left after this one, and 9 wickets to get for Australia. I don't think, it doesn't look like they're going to get those 9 wickets. Although Lyon had 2 very good chances to take a wicket. He should have had Heinrich Klaasen, but that's...
You realize, Otto, that you're going to have to do the ball-by-ball commentary for another 22 overs.
Hazelwood to Erwee, defends this one. There's an inside edge and half an appeal for LBW. And yeah, I mean, if I have, that's why I said let's do just the post tea session, because we'll only be 3 people.
So there's only one person, and that's you.
If 2 people fall by the wayside, then so be it. Pendulo said he is on his way.
Okay, good.
So Erwee facing Hazelwood round the wicket to the left-hander and defended, no run. As Sadiq Sumro on YouTube says, so what happens
finally
to
on YouTube?
If he manages to score a 50 or even 100 here, does he hold on to his position? I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to go and look through all the stats of all the other players that are in the domestic game.
And what has proven himself to be
Hazelwood,
but good enough.
To Erwee, almost doesn't get his bat out of the way, and just dabs that one into backward point. No run there. 22 overs to go, 9 wickets to get for Australia.
Because good openers are like gold dust in the world today. Okay? You cannot get good openers for love or money. Look at England. We've got Zach Crawley and Ben Duckett. And under the so-called baseball regime, they've been Australia or in the Western or in England. And you was unfairly chastised for not being a good enough opener. He was, I think, a good enough opener. But
Lyon to Klaasen, and this one is pulled. It's short and wide, and powerfully struck by Klaasen down to deep mid-wicket for 4. 70 up for South Africa. Klaasen goes to 32 or 55. So the question about the openers for South Africa, I didn't quite catch what you were saying there, Ravi, but
No, sorry.
The one name that's been bandied about a lot at the moment is Tony De Zorzi. So that's this time Klaasen steps onto the back foot and he plays a beautiful on drive off the back foot. It won't reach the boundary. The ball's slowing down enough for the fielders to catch up, but they should get back for 3. And it looks like they did. So
56 balls. He's 96.
That's right. Klaasen is on 35 now.
Yeah. My point is that openers. Can you hear me?
You're sounding a bit better now. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm saying openers, good openers in the world today are like gold dust.
Yes.
You cannot. Hervé has proven his worth in different ways.
Yeah, he hasn't had a horrible career so far, Sarel Hervé, and
exactly.
But his average is 25.
You know what?
But that's for an opener. That's okay because you're playing for South Africa, and it's one of the most difficult countries to open the batting. Sarel Hervé just pads this one away. Nathan Lyon spent a bit of time setting his field. He bowls this one outside leg. He's got a silly mid off in and a slip and the short square leg. That short square leg's a bit far away from the batsman to my liking. Defended by Hervé again. No run. So Sadiq Sumro also saying there are guys like Joshua Richards and Jordan Herman who are good openers domestically, so they might have a go against the West Indies in South Africa in February. This one also outside leg stump. Sarel Hervé pads it away, no run.
Stumbo says Tony De Zorzi is another guy who can open and has scored some runs this season. But my point is that domestic form, I know South Africans love it. I don't trust it at all.
Short and wide, outside off stump, Lyon to Hervé, and the single is taken to point. No, that's a fact. I mean, we have a very weak domestic 4-day game at the moment. We've talked about it on these throughout this tour, and I didn't realize how bad it was that we only play 7 matches in a season in our domestic 4-day game. So if you're playing domestic cricket in South Africa, you're only playing 7 red ball games in a season.
It's almost like a women's game. They play no red ball matches during.
Far away from what it should be, and you cannot expect. I mean, then why are you surprised when our test team looks like this and we can't really see who we need to bring into the team, and who we're going to leave on the sidelines?
Structure in South Africa
Hazelwood
goes from
into the leg stump of Hervé, clips this one to backward square leg down to 45 on the leg side, and it's a single taken.
Your domestic structure is you go from posh schools to 4-day cricket, or ideally now particularly white ball cricket, and then if you think you're good enough, you're getting to test team. That's it.
Well, you're going to play in the South African test side if you can't get a T20 contract somewhere else. That's what's happening at the moment.
The problem for test teams today is that they're irrelevant except for tests and the people who love tests.
Yes.
For the cricket lovers, it's maybe
we're having the same problem that the West Indies have, that our best players don't want to play for the test side because then they play too much cricket and it's just not worth their time. So Klaasen drives this one to cover and there's no run. The second ball of the 27th over, 75 for 1 for what it's worth, 20 overs to go for South Africa to draw the test. 9 wickets needed.
Siddiq says, it's not about number of 4-day games. Just 2 to 3 years ago, we were playing 10 games per season. It's about standard of bowling. Do you agree with that?
Yes, that does play a role, because if you have a look at that's an excellent delivery by Josh Hazelwood, swinging into the right-hander, prodigious movement there through the air. Now for Hazelwood, there's an appeal for LBW, but I think I saw an inside edge there. So if you look at somebody like Aiden Markram right. will go down into the domestic leagues, and he will absolutely obliterate every attack that he plays against, and then he averages 10 when he comes into the international test side. So that's definitely a good point that Siddiq is making there. It's not just the quantity, it's also the quality.
You have one of the best bowling attacks in world cricket. But
they don't play the 4-day games in the domestic system. And Klaasen leaves this one alone outside off stump, and there is no run. Because when we're playing our 4-day games, there's T20 leagues going on, or the Proteas are touring somewhere else. So the top bowlers in our country very seldom play 4-day games. That much I know.
Let me get to the end of this over and make it wrong. Yeah. But let's get to the end of the over.
2 balls to go in the 27th over. Hazelwood starting to get the ball to move through the air as Heinrich Klaasen gets in behind this one, and they don't take a run, just defend it to the offside.
Siddiq also says, every team has one good bowler at most. As a batter, if you manage to play one bowler, you can score a lot of runs. Yes, Siddiq. Siddiq, I completely agree with you. In domestic games, this is what happens. Sorry, Hazelwood's bowling, right?
Hazelwood bowls Heinrich Klaasen clean through the gate. I think there might have been an inside edge, but the footwork from Heinrich Klaasen nowhere. He was stuck in his crease for some reason, not going forward to that delivery, and the ball finding its way onto his stumps. That was an excellent delivery by Josh Hazelwood. The ball swings in and beats Heinrich Klaasen, stuck in his crease, and that is the end of Heinrich Klaasen for South Africa. So Klaasen goes for 35 of 61. He hit 3 fours. He was at the crease for 75 minutes. And Australia need 8 wickets to win. And there's 20 overs left. They need 8 good deliveries to seal the 3-0 series whitewash. Jeez on the rise. That was an excellent delivery. That delivery started off on almost the first slip line and just ducked back in at the last moment. Amazing stuff there by Hazelwood.
Wow. Yeah, it was a great occasion. The speed it was delivered at.
And another dose of sarcasm here from Siddiq Sumro. Come on, Proteas, still 20 overs for you guys to get out. You can do it.
No, see, Hazelwood
they will be trying their best, Siddiq. Don't worry. Themba Bavuma is there with Sarel Erwin now. And let's see if he can get anywhere near a decent score.
Themba might be out
around for 20 overs.
Themba might be out within 6 balls, or he's going to see the day through. Either 6 balls out, or he's going to see it through. I trust Themba to do either.
Yes, either one is a likely outcome. Nathan Lyon will continue, and he's going to be bowling around the wicket to the left-handed Erwin. with 20 overs remaining. 8 wickets in hand for South Africa. Lyon goes around the wicket to the left-hander, and it's driven straight back to the bowler. No run. Australia appealed for something there. At least Alex Carey thought there was something there, but the ball was played down into the ground, back to Nathan Lyon.
But
inside edge there from Nathan Lyon, goes to square leg. Now all of a sudden, Australia are looking dangerous. It's amazing how the same thing happened yesterday after lunch, where everything was sort of clicking along and everything looked, steady as she goes, and then all of a sudden the Australian bowlers just started producing chances and taking wickets. Defended by Arvia again, no run.
You know what? I'm going to say the C word. I'm sorry. You are chokers. As soon as you lose a wicket, you panic. South Africa,
that's true.
I don't know why, just panics as soon as the wicket is lost.
Into the off stump of Arvia and just defended into the offside, no run. Yes, we do seem to collapse quite nicely. So
I don't know why it is. Apart from England, I don't know a team that collapses more often than South Africa.
Probably Pakistan in their heyday.
Yeah.
Not these
in
days,
their heyday. Not the
Pakistan tries to cut this one off the back foot, but it goes through to the keeper for no run.
Pakistan in the recent series fought all the way through. England they were drunk on baseball. They were seriously smashed, and they just went through Pakistan like a fire through butter or something. Poor Pakistan didn't have a chance.
Takes a single. No, Arvia defends this one, and there's no run. No, but since Babar Azam, Pakistan have been sort of a different team to what we're used to.
And they were tough, but they couldn't stand up against England. But they stood up against New Zealand, didn't they?
The Test champions, yes.
Yes, they fought man-to-man with them. Pakistan are not a team to be taken lightly. It's just that England somehow went berserk on their asses, if you don't mind my phrase. It just happens. It wasn't like Australia versus the West Indies, which was frankly a mismatch in those conditions.
Well, you could say the same about the South African team, that it's sort of a mismatch here.
No, but
Cummins saw the ball swing, and he's going to bowl now, replacing Hazelwood. Second slip in, goes to Themba Bavuma, who defends this one on off stump, and there's no run.
See, Australia versus South Africa is not a mismatch, except for the fact that South African batting is somehow very weak. You don't have a Callis, you don't have a Graham Smith, you don't have an A.B. de Villiers, you don't have a Faf du Plessis. The best you've got is Dean Elgar, and he's okay. He's not very good, to be honest. You need to find more batters.
Into Bavuma, and another dot ball there. No run.
It's like it sometimes happens. And you've got a captain and a standby coach, a drop-in coach almost, you might say, who's trying to look after the team. So you can't even go, let's try baseball, let's try positive cricket or whatever. And Dean Elgar,
second and third slip in for Cummins, and he defends, does Bavuma on middle stump, no run.
Elgar's main objective is to be safe, which is unfortunate, but it happens. And it's worked for South Africa for years, but right now it won't work. Playing it safe won't work for South Africa.
Yeah, well, they couldn't even hang on to their wickets during this series so far. So that's a big concern, as Themba lifts his hands high into the air and leaves this one alone. No run there.
Uh, Euler Andres Enriquez Rodriguez says Kian Va Fernando. I hope he's not a pawn bot or something, but
No,
that is.
I hope so too. I'll have to go and translate that. My Spanish
Yeah,
is not great.
and it might be Portuguese. You don't know.
Cummins into Bavuma, defends this one to the onside, no run.
Kian Va Fernando. Yeah, or whatever. Oh, Siddiq actually says, stats before switching back to provisional cricket. 19 seasons, saw 43 bowlers averaging more than 35. 18, 37 bowlers averaging more than 35. So he's talking about the domestic cricket in South Africa, and the bowlers averaging more than 35. But they were probably spinners trying for Keshav Maharaj's post. Let's be honest. Anyone can try for Keshav Maharaj's post. Because
Bavuma goes on the forward defensive and gets a thick outside edge that goes down to third man for 2. He's off the mark. There are 18 overs remaining and 8 wickets.
Keshav Maharaj is not impressive. Zafar hasn't or Akshar Patel is for the Indies. I know, but he's not impressive. Tabrez Shamsi is more impressive in his own way, though he's a white ball specialist, allegedly.
Yeah, a few people were saying that we should have played Simon Harmer in the previous match at the MCG instead of Keshav. Lion goes around the wicket to the left-handed Arvia. Silly mid-off, same field as before for Nathan Lyon, and Arvia defends this one. There's no run. Once again, I'll have to go and check all the stats and stuff, and I would agree with that Simon Harmer could have get a look in at the MCG because he's a bit more of a solid. He's a more solid batsman than Keshav at the moment.
No,
Single taken, and Bavuma is now on strike to Nathan Lyon.
Okay, you get through this over. I will tell you why Simon Harmer is not necessarily as impressive. Not necessarily as impressive.
Yes.
Lyon gets through his overs quickly.
Yeah, he's setting his field now for the right-handed. Bavuma goes over the wicket to Temba, full outside off defended. And Sadiq saying 43 bowlers average more than 35. It shows almost all bowlers in all the teams were taking wickets after 35 runs, which isn't something you want to see in the standard of bowling, and batters didn't have to work for runs. Looping delivery, outside off stump, too full, driven by Temba Bavuma. It's not going to make it to the boundary as Pat Cummins balls this in, loses his cap in the process, and they go for 3 runs.
Australians love to wear their caps, don't they? They're baggy green.
Baggy green.
Yeah. The thing is, I have no fondness for that kind of sentimentality, particularly Australian. But I was coming back to the... No, I'm sorry. In Matilda for all they want. But I was talking about spin tools, and Simon Harmer has spun his way to a lot of wicket in England.
Arvia defends this one, no run.
And he might work, therefore, outside South Africa a bit better than Keshav Maharaj. But my point is that taking South African domestic stats as an idea of why one could be a test player is all.
Hervé goes back onto his stumps, outside off stump, and just hangs his bat almost to getting an edge there, and that's the end of the over. 17 overs to go, 8 wickets in hand.
So, okay, let me do my rant. Domestic cricket, even in England, or the Sheffield Shield, or South Africa, is no real predictor of how you do in tests. The best predictor of how you do in tests these days is how you do in T20s. I know it sounds shit, but Vinder Sehwag not seeing the outcome. And David Warner has turned out to be a test batter with a great record. And that's all going to... okay, sorry. Siddiqui says, talking about Keshav, he has 69 wickets in 20 matches, two matches versus Bangladesh. He has so I think Siddiqui agrees with me that Keshav Maharaj is not an impressive bowler. He's the best spinner South Africa produced in years, but he's good.
Two dot balls there from Pat Cummins to Bavuma. So no harm done there. The first one outside off stump, and the next one with Fuller onto the stumps. Defended both times by Bavuma. No run so far.
Bavuma is a good man. I like him. He does. He. I hope we'll just see this home for South Africa.
Cummins to Bavuma on leg stump. Defended. No run.
Yeah, I said I hope. I don't know if he's going to do that. I hope, because he has quality, a strange sort of quality, but yeah. Siddiqui also says, Simon Harmer hasn't taken his opportunity with all these horrible numbers from Keshav. He has bowled Simon every game they have played together. I didn't know that. Has he?
I have to go and check that. I'll take your word for it, Siddiq. Run there as Temba defends to cover. So these stats gurus like Siddiq show me up for the casual fan that I am.
No, in one sense, we're all casual fans, aren't we? We just see the game, we see the players, we see the stats, and we make our decisions. But cricket is like that as a game. We can delve as deep as we want.
That's right. And Cummins goes to Bavuma once again, and this one hits Bavuma on the hip. He wants the single, but is turned back wisely by Arvia. No run.
If Temba was hit on the hip, even if he was hit on the chest, why isn't that an LBW call?
LBW. He was jumping up in the air when it hit him on the hip. So that's why.
No, any part of Temba would be just Temba before wicket. Come on.
Cummins into Bavuma, onto middle and leg, and flicked around the corner by Bavuma down to fine leg. He gets a single and he retains the strike. 16 overs to go, 8 wickets. The score doesn't matter in terms of runs, but for what it's worth, 82 on the board. Bavuma 6 of 14, Arvia 31 of 86.
You might want to make this sound like Rorke's Drift or something, battling against the odds, but let's be honest, South Africa have a bloody good chance of drawing this, and that's all we're looking for. We're not looking
Yes.
for an Australian win. We want a draw, right?
Yes. Um, that's the objective here for South Africa and
No,
Australia.
no. It's the objective for every Test lover. We don't want Australia to win. If you love Test
Lion
cricket, don't let Australia win.
and Lion to Bavuma, full on middle stump, played out to the onside, no run, straight to the fielder. Lion comes in again, right arm over the wicket to the right-handed Bavuma, who goes back onto his stumps and defends back down the pitch, no run. Same
Siddiqui
field.
says, yes, Keshav has outbowled Simon in all games played together on turning pitches versus Bangladesh versus England in England conditions where Dimon, I don't know, has played more, yet Simon, I presume, has played more, yet he couldn't manage to outbowl Keshav. Even in these games, with all these left-handers, Oz batting lineup, Simon as an off-spinner hasn't done much. Okay, so
Lion to Bavuma, forward defensive, no run.
The point is, I don't rate Simon Harmer as highly as some people rate him, but I don't rate Keshav Maharaj. To be honest, I think you would have done better 4 years ago, taking Tabraiz Shamsi into your Test team and making him a Test bowler.
Lion into Bavuma, who defends this one, and there's no run. Yeah, the problem with Shamsi is that he's expensive, and he's a bit inconsistent. I don't think he's a consistent enough bowler for the red ball game. So
Yeah.
he's a kind of bowler that will maybe take a wicket, but he'll definitely concede 4 or 5 runs and over. So I don't think that's.
Bowlers, Siddiqui agrees with you. He says Tabraiz isn't consistent.
Lion
that's not my point.
into Bavuma, no run there, mate, over. And 15 overs to go, 8 wickets.
My point is that a leggy is always a more wicket-taking option. And if you can get him, if you can support him, or her, if you're into the women's game, you can get actually consistent and Murli was a freak, and I mean that literally because his arm was changed by polio. So umpires like Darryl Hare called him, or when it wasn't. Separate. Otherwise, ever was Shane Warne, who was a leggy. And next to him, after Anderson, was Anil Kumble, who's also a leggy. You need good leg spinners.
Yes, it's a good weapon to have in your squad. Drinks are taken Sydney.
Okay, I can continue my rant then. You need leg spinners. Off spinners, right arm off spinners, are rubbish against right-handed batsmen until they learn, like Lion, to use drift and turn and flight to bring short leg into play. Otherwise, off spinners are basically no good. Literally, right arm off spinners are no good because they're playing against right-handed batters who just play with the spin. And as Joe Root has shown, and all the English cricketers have shown in the last series, you sweep the buggers. You just sweep and sweep and sweep, and they become nullified. So right arm off spinners, right arm finger spinners, I should probably say, are useless. They only of how to counter that. But then years. Leg spinners years. Who gives leg spinners access? Could have been far more consistent, far more successful if he'd been given just 2 years of you're in the team. That's to you. Play for us. And well, keep bowling. Do an end of a spell. Siddiqui says South Africa likes to play with spinner who can play as support. Managed to hold up an end. Tabrez wasn't that guy. South Africa likes that, but South Africa has got it wrong. South Africa has got it wrong. Don't just use the spinner as a support guy. Come on. Anyway, that's my rant done for the day. I think I might have another coming up shortly. I think that spinners are miscast in cricket, and my second rant is going to be much bigger. Still on drinks.
Drinks have been done there, and 15 overs to go. Pat Cummins will continue. Bowling his 7th over. He's got 1 for 13. And then Sadiq carries on with his rant. Keshav was bowling very well before making it to limited overs team. He bowls flat now. I remember Keshav bowling well on his first Australian tour. And Cummins puts this one outside off stump, left alone by Arvia, and there's no run. Done. The spinner, as we saw at the Gabba and at the MCG, the spinner's role also becomes, if you're playing a guy like Keshav and you've got that mentality like South Africa have, like our team have, that the spinner holds up an end, the spinner gives the rest of the bowling attack a chance to rest, and you don't have runs on the board, then that role becomes even more useless, because the guy isn't going to take wickets. You need wickets because you only got 150 or 200 runs on the board. If you've got a score of 350 or 400, your spinner can do something. But if the batters, coming back to the biggest problem that we have is that the top order isn't scoring runs. There's not enough runs on the board for the bowling attack to work with, and so that spin option is actually not an option anymore. Arvia drives this one to mid-off, and they take single. 14.3 overs to go. 8 wickets in hand.
Where is Mepundalo?
He's having some technical issues apparently.
Oh.
And so he's going to sort that out as soon as he can. But Ken said he might be in. So the field is being set for the right-hander now, for Pat Cummins to bowl to Temba Bavuma. Second and third slip in, Cummins to Bavuma on middle and leg, short, just defended, and there is a single taken.
See, the issue about spinners is not so much this. Spinners in South Africa are defended and don't have the pitches to bowl on until now. My big round. Let's get this over done with. Because I have a big run.
So Sadiq agreeing with me, something SA can get from Simon is runs at number 8. He looks much better technically to bat at 8 than Keshav. And so here we go. We've got Penhulo Sawubona Bob.
Mr. Otto Sawubona, how unjani?
Sikhona John.
Lovely, I'm doing well. Mr. Ravi, greetings from all over the other side of the world.
God, come on.
Arvia facing Cummins, no run there.
Join
Don't
us
have me.
because I'm rubbish at this kind of stuff, and we all need a break.
Don't. I can give you a break, but don't worry.
Yeah. So let this over get over as something. Also,
Arvia facing Cummins, that's a delivery that spits up off a good length outside off stump, and Arvia defends this. Ball rolls past the wickets, and there's no run.
right.
So,
Okay. Is that the end of the over? I
Yes.
want to do it right. Okay. You know, cricket was invented
it.
by us English. Okay. Who are shit. Let's be honest. We are rubbish people. And we decided that cricket had to be played by gentlemen playing drives against cowmen, farmers hurling balls at us. And then Ranjit Singh Ji came around in the start of the 20th century, start of the 20th century, and invented the leg glance. And a lot of people thought that was not fair. A lot of people thought, oh my God, he's bloody using Indian wizardry. He should not be allowed. But he invented that stroke, and the leg glance became a part of cricket. And ever since then, English cricket has held against any changes to cricket. So spin, the English considered to be wizardry, magic, should not be allowed. And they decided that pitchers had to take pace the first and second days, and the third, fourth, and fifth days they should take seam. They should take swing the first few days and then seam the second few days. And they didn't like spin. So they hated Indians who spun the ball, Pakistanis who spun the ball, and they liked people who actually made it spin. And this is an attitude built into cricket that we don't like spin. You know, I don't know why it's happened. Well, I do know why it's happened because we're white English. I'm not white, but I'm English. So we invented the game. Damn it, we'll tell you how it's played. But you know what? England, the only country in the world, really, apart from the West Indies and Ireland, who plays Test cricket in the summer. Everyone else plays it over October to February. England.
The delivery of the over, Lyon conceded 3 runs there, but Pavuma lost his bat when he turned for the last one, and it was judged a short run. So Arvia is on strike now, and 2 runs so far. The over, Lyon into Arvia now, defends this, and there is no run. Sorry, Ravi, carry on.
No, my point is that England dominates cricket too much in terms of its ideas of the conventions or the traditions of cricket and the way that pitchers should play. I'm sorry, I'm not going to say that. To hell with that. Cricket
Arvia
belongs to the
defends,
world.
no run.
Cricket belongs to the world, not to England, and not to Australia. Australia doesn't decide whether that's... Let's think about the other countries and let them have their voices. Pitches, balls. If you're hitting the balls, you get hit in the balls. It doesn't matter whether it's Duke or Kangaroo. Or Kookaburra.
End of the over. And there are 13 overs to go in the day, 8 wickets to take. So it looks like we are heading for a draw. I wonder if the captains are going to shake hands at some point.
It would be wonderful.
Still, Australia would think that 13 overs might be enough to take the 8 wickets. At what point are they going to say that's enough?
Well, effectively 2.2 overs. No.
Yes, probably.
A
When they've got
1.2.
less than eight deliveries to go, they'll shake hands.
Yes.
Sadiq
No. I
saying,
think.
I totally agree with Otto, thank you, about batters to blame for non-performing spinners. Spinners need runs on the board. Batting has been horrible.
Yes.
As
Exactly.
Cummins will now go to Bavuma, and he's got some attacking field here that hints at some short stuff to come for Bavuma. This one is, of course, then pitched outside off, and Bavuma lets it go to the keeper for no run.
Napindula, do you want to do ball by ball to give Otto a break?
Give Otto a break. He is ahead, but I don't mind going ball by ball. It's just that
Yeah.
Otto will be
Yes,
very frustrated
let's.
that he'll see it happen.
I'll pause my feed. That's fine. So that's the first delivery of the 35th over. So you tell me when you see the second delivery bowled, and I'll pause my feed.
By all means, still showing Pat Cummins going, oh my God, we missed that. And it was a good ball which just swung back in. So now he's running in for his second delivery, facing to Bavuma,
Great.
and it bowls it brilliantly outside the off stump, and it's shaping back in, forcing Bavuma to defend, to point, and it's a dot ball.
Okay.
Ravi,
Napindula, I love the way your hand showed that shaping in.
listen, I think in my past life I was Italian.
I'm going to leave you guys for a second, but Otto, if
Thank
you need
you,
a break,
Ravi.
I'm
Appreciate
going
it.
to leave you guys for a second. If you want me, I'll leave you forever. But for a second right now, okay? Thank you for a minute.
See you when you're back, Ravi. Entertaining characters at Guerrilla Cricket, Otto.
Yes, sir.
It's entertaining, gentlemen. But we here, it's 12.3 overs remaining, 8 wickets in the bag for Australia. South Africa on 87. Of course, chances of victory are basically non-existent, but Australia can still do something here. Australia, South Africa can collapse very easily. Ball is balled full onto the block hole. Coming around the wicket now is Pat Cummins to Cyril Ervia, and it's also been blocked. I guess that's what they're trying to do here now, South Africa. Just make sure that they keep those deliveries out, and Australia are still getting that reverse swing somehow. After 35 overs, Otto, South Africa did the ball reverse even.
Yeah, they seem to have figured out how to get the ball to swing without saliva or sandpaper. So that's good on them that they managed to do that. Yeah, it's just I think this pitch also they were saying that it's quite dry. It is a bit more abrasive than what we've seen on the rest of the tour. And then obviously South Africa were bowling in the first few days. So as the pitch gets drier and more abrasive, it seems to be scuffing up the ball nicely for Australia.
Giving us some cricket lessons as Cummins goes in for the last ball. It's bowled in straight, still around the wicket. Just glanced onto the mid on, and that's how we end the 35th over here. South Africa on 87 for 2. Cyril Ervia is very close to facing 100 balls. At least we're going to see something written 100 in a South African batter's score sheet. So Cyril Ervia is on 32 in 98 balls. Themba Bavuma is on 10 from 26. And it's safe to say that with these amounts of overs remaining, even the heads and the spirits for the Australians will start relaxing because, of course, they've already won the series.
Yeah, they'd love to get the 3-0 in the series and the extra points. I think that's also something nice about the World Test Championship, that there really aren't any dead rubbers anymore. Even though the series is gone, the draw will mean points for South Africa that they won't obviously get if they have a loss. So that's still something there for both teams to go for. And probably also why Pat Cummins hasn't, given up the
Declared.
ghost yet. Yeah, said, okay, that's it, let's call it a draw, because there is still a chance that they can get those 8 wickets, and they'll go for it as much as they can.
Mhm.
2 balls gone in Lions over, and both were dots.
Like it's coming in now for his third ball, bowling to Bavuma around the wicket. A lot of rough to work with outside that off stump. And then he bowls it flatter and Bavuma defends. They also have a man under the helmet in front of Bavuma at silly point just to just suffocate him just a little bit more here.
Now we saw the same field throughout. Lions bowling to right-handers. They've let go of the silly mid-off or silly point for the left-handed batter.
Mm. Giving it that bounce, Nathan Lyon has a lot of tricks under his belt. He's been giving problems, and now they're giving support to make sure that, hey man, grab this wicket for us as he comes in for his fifth ball. Spins in, it's a bit fuller and a bit straighter, but straight into mid on, and it's a dot ball still.
11 overs and 8 wickets to go.
Here comes Nathan Lyon for his last ball now. The score is on 87 for 2. Bowls it straighter still, and it's still flat. Bavuma is happy to go into the back foot to defend, even though the ball is full. That's how we end that 36th over. South Africa on 87 for 2. They are defending well now. And even if you watch the game here also, it feels as if the threat that Australia were picking up is no longer there anymore. Everything just feels a lot more calmer in the game. Even the South Africans, it feels as if they already know that somehow they've got this handled. So now they're just being more relaxed here.
Yes, and that's it's now after that drinks break, and I was telling Ravi that we saw the same thing yesterday, where everything seemed to be sort of steady as she goes, and then all of a sudden, Australia just seemed to find another gear. They just seemed to take that step up in intensity and whatever, and started to create chances. And Hazelwood and Lyon looked a little bit more dangerous during the first hour after tea. And now once again we're back to that stage where everything seems to be just chugging along, as Agar is into the attack. 11 overs to go, and
we broke. But now we're back now. I'm sorry, I just cut off my network here. We're back now, and they're trying to change that by bringing Ashton Agar now. Maybe a change in bowling might spice things up here for the game. Tall man, he's bowling to Cyril Ervia.
3 fielders and the wicket-keeper close to the bat.
Ooh,
same field as Lyon.
Nice one. Starts off with a nice one there. Also, it's a full one. Because his left arm, it spins back into the left-hander, just nabbing the inside edge, but missing those stumps. Coming in now for his second ball, like you said, that those 3 fielders around the bat. Gives it a nice little flight there, good loop, but the ball is way outside the off stump, and Ervia just lets that go. He's faced 100 balls now for his 32.
Yeah, there we go, 100. 100 of something.
And there's the ball. And you can see with Ashton Agar, he actually has more rough to work with than with Nathan Lyon. Even the previous ball having that puff of dust outside the off stump. So something for Ervia to be wary about here as he comes for the 4th ball. Ooh, good bounce from Ashton Agar. Spinning it back, and he's playing it from his lap. Playing it down for a dot ball. So he's using that height well.
Yep. He didn't take a wicket in the first innings, but he did create a few chances. So let's see. Australia
creates a chance for Ervia to score here as he bowls one wide. Doesn't spin back much, and it's cut to the deep point fielder just for a single, bringing Bavuma on strike. And maybe Ashton will be happy with this one since he's a left armer bowling to the right-handed batter.
I I would rather like to see Cummins and Hazelwood trying to pry the wickets out here. I don't see the spinners taking anything right now. But
And neither
yeah,
do
I mean,
I.
Klaasen almost lost his wicket to Lyon. He was caught, but the umpires did the same thing they did in the rest of the match and said that any part of the ball touches the grass, that's not a catch.
Which is the laws, Otto. Why do you sound disappointed?
Well, that was. I've seen catches like that given in the past. Yeah.
But are you quickly waiting for South Africa to lose all their wickets? I would have thought that you want them to stay there just for a bit longer.
Yeah, look, from a South African point of view, I don't think the spinners are going to take the 8 wickets. And now Marlis Labuschagne will get his chance to bowl. And his armpit is left armpit is red, as he's been wiping the ball there the whole match.
It was a first when I saw that, but now maybe
10
bringing
overs.
in a part timer, hoping that they can lessen the guard for the South African batters, as you were saying, Otto, with now 10 overs remaining in the game.
I'm going to take a quick break. I'll be right back.
I'll see you soon, Otto. So, it's you and us here, listeners. Marnus Labuschagne, he will be bowling to Sarul Ervia. We have 3 around the bat, a leg slip. We have a short mid-wicket under the helmet and a slip fielder as well. Ervia is on 33, Bavuma is on 10. Big delay as we wait for the game to start, but remember, runs are no longer the issue here. It's about Australia getting those wickets back from South Africa. 8 that they need to be exact, and they have 60 balls to make that happen. Comes in with those leg breaks, does Marnus Labuschagne with a round arm action, trying to make use of that rough outside of Sarul Ervia's off stump, but it's just defended to start things off. It's a dot ball. Ooh, my God, he's getting massive bounce and turn. That rough is massive, so he has a big patch to work with, and that wrist spin, bam, touching that crack and spinning backwards. And Mohammed Sohail Ansari says, "Hi, hello, Mohammed. How you doing, buddy? Hope you're doing as good as the ball that Marnus just bowled. It's outside the off stump at a Yorker length. Trying to dig that out earlier, just nothing, but missing the stump since it was too far. To start the 4th ball. Ooh, that's a good turn. Big appeal coming from the Australians, as you'd expect, just to apply pressure to Ervia. But he's getting immense amounts of turn here as Labuschagne from that outside off stump patch of rough. The ball is puffing off, it's bouncing up, it's turning back in, and it's giving Sarul Ervia a little bit of concerns here. But with that bounce, not much to hit the stumps. Just a little block. They've gone for a review here, the Australians. This is an interesting one. They want to see if they can reward Marnus Labuschagne. Big puff of dust as the ball spins back, and it hits the inside back leg of Sarul Ervia, but way above the stumps. If you can imagine where the inner thigh guard is, that's where he got hit. And even worse, since he traveled across the off stump, the ball was impacted outside the off stump, and that's a green light as the review is lost by the Australians. So there's 2 more balls remaining in the overs. Ervia survives, has a chance to go to a 50, but an edge there from Labuschagne, almost changing that story. It just doesn't get to Steve Smith's hands. Soft hands used by Sarul Ervia to just try to stop that ball, and it bounces in front of Steve Smith's lingering hands. Look at Marnus Labuschagne almost getting a wicket as a part-timer. For the last ball, still using that rough, and it seems like it's a good bowling change here from Pat Cummins. He's bringing and asking questions of Cyril Ervia. Funny enough, he looks like the most threatening of the bowlers right now. But that's how he ends his first over, which we can classify as a really good one. Amounts of turn, amounts of bounce, amounts of action that he generated. That's how we end that over. 9 left. That was a maiden from Manus Lapuschagne. Jagannath Adishesha, we see you, my brother. He's saying whoever gets sacked after this tour, no one bothers because he really doesn't care. But surely the batting coach should get sacked. He looks out of his depth. Otto?
Do we have a batting coach?
Do not know. Last time I checked, we had a batting consultant of some sort. I don't know if he's still
Yes.
around though.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a sad state of affairs for South African fans. It's not nice to see this kind of performance especially against Australia. So Labuschagne had a big appeal there. Almost some chances created.
Nearly, but then it was just outside that off stump when the ball was impacted. So he survived, did Ervia. Now it's Ashton Agar coming around the wicket to Themba Bavuma. Remember that left arm off spin, looking to spin it away from Bavuma. Just a dot ball to start things off. Man, does Agar wish he had that rough that Marnus was working with. Luckily enough, he's creating it for Marnus. Bowls it very wide, trying to use that rough, but too wide. It's cut and straight to the deep point fielder for a single.
So let's see if we can get Ravi back in. Just remember to keep the ball by ball front and center. Don't mind talking over people if you're doing ball by ball.
I'm not doing ball by ball. Napundalo, you're the man.
I've got you guys. Do not worry. As Ashton Agar bowls to Ervia, now he has that huge patch of rough to the left-hander. Still a lot of bounce, and it's a dot ball.
I'll take a break and listen to you guys.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm here for. Take a break off.
You've been fighting for him to take a break, Ravi.
You take a break, Otto.
Just a single, just a dot ball as the ball still spins back. Looking for that rough is Ashton, but it's just a little bit too far from that off stump, Ravi, as he comes in for the fifth ball. Gives it some loop.
Australia want to try everything until it's too late, because the only chances are it's draw or they can win. So they will put every bowler in, and they'll repeat rotating their bowlers until no one works. You know what I mean?
I get you. Just play everything. And the nice thing is that, as I was saying to Otto, is that by doing that, you kind of mess with the batter's mindset as well. They're trying to set up, and now you're batting against Manus Lapuschagne. You know, so it really does mess up with
Manus Lapuschagne should not be in.
But here he is. Here he is giving problems.
His test batting average in Australia is 74. Okay? His test batting average out of Australia is 44. That is the kind of man he is.
Give us further, because 44 is not bad, is not a bad average at all, Ravi.
No, it's not bad, but Steve Smith averages over 60 inside and outside Australia. Okay, Donald Bradman averaged over 100 outside Australia, just under 100 inside Australia. They're the only two Australian batsmen or batters for whom I have any respect. You know, David Warner averages less than 40 overall because he averages 40, 39 outside Australia and averages over 60 inside Australia.
It's all.
So
Oh my
Australia,
God! Oh, sorry, Ravi. Look,
yeah,
Labuschagne is getting something out of that pitch, and with that lot of bounce, Cyril Ervia thought that he had a pull shot, but something is not. His can't calculate it right. The ball didn't pick up that time, so invariable bounce is playing a factor now, Ravi.
yeah, but it's only how many? 14 overs, 13 overs to go.
It's
Australians are not going to be able to take advantage of this. Um, Muhammad Sohail Ansari says ball by ball Hindi commentary. I wish I मैं चाहता हूँ कि मैं आपको कह सकता हूँ लेकिन मुझ में नहीं है और हम सब में नहीं sorry
let's go. Don't lose spirits, Ravi. You know, Ervia just played a lovely cover drive past the mid-off fielder. It's gone to the boundary as he moves to 40. Maybe you could have given us that in Hindi.
No, I don't know Hindi any way really. My point is that there are Hindi commentary channels and you will get it. But we're English. Jagannath Adishesha says, whoever gets sacked after this tour, no one bothers. But surely batting coach should get sacked. He looked out of his depth. You know what? I don't know if it's a batting coach's fault, Jagannath. You know, Jagannath is a name that actually has given rise to our English juggernaut. Please
So he
interrupt
is.
me with ball by ball. Please interrupt me with ball by ball.
Do not worry. Do not worry. I will listen to your rant if nothing major is happening. The only thing is just that over number 40 has finished and it's 96 for 2. Unless if it's a wicket, not even a 4 matters here, Ravi. The only thing we're probably waiting for is that 50 from Cyril Ervia and the end of the game. Unless we can get a wicket from Ashton Agar.
You want a wicket from Ashton Agar? No, I love Ashton Agar because of that 98 he made against England, nearly 8 years ago, was it? Okay, let me tell you my Jagannath story first. So Jagannath, who must know what his name means.
Let me just set up the platform a little bit here, Ravi, just so that we know that Ashton Agar is coming over the wicket. So he's bowling on that body line for Bavuma, looking to spin it away from him across the wickets. So Bavuma retaliates with a super stroke. A beautiful sweep shot, which goes over, and it's just 4 runs. So he's taking it on to Ashton Agar, and that's how South Africa reached their 100.
Oh, Bavuma, my boy, Temba. Oh, he's actually more than me, but he is my man.
I love the guy.
I love the guy.
But here he comes now for ball number 3, and he just lets that one go. He's trying to force him to drive that ball to activate the man who's standing at second slip, and then
activate the man at second slip. I like that. And it's almost like you young people play video games or something. You activate people.
That's Pendulo having a bit of technical issues there, but he'll be back as soon as possible. Single taken there off the 4th delivery, and Ervia will now face Ashton Agar, the left-handed, over the wicket to the left-hander, left alone outside off stump, no run.
So that's why Pundulo is frozen.
Yes, let's give him a break there, so that's
fine.
Yeah. So dot ball there. 6 overs to go after this one. Agar wide outside off stump, left alone by Ervia, no run. So
this is a slow boat home for South Africa. Eventually, the captains will shake hands.
Yes.
What is there
Yes,
interesting to talk about this series? What have we learned?
Well, yeah, the batting, the top order batting, and Upendulo is back.
Is he? Oh, good,
There we go.
good. It was such fun talking to him. No, it was such fun talking to you, Upendulo. You're happy. Otto wants to go. He's the best.
Let him do what he needs to do. I'm just struggling with my network for some reason. So it comes and it goes. So you're just gonna have to
Oh
bear with
dear.
me here. As
I've
Manus
got
Labuschagne.
fiber optic network now, so I'm feeling very posh.
Hey, it must. Oh my God, how I envy you right now. I have to toggle changing my SIM card from here to my old school Wi-Fi router. Man,
Oh
it's
dear.
tough. But the ball has been bowled by Labuschagne, bowling it. Remember, spinning it away from Temba Bavuma, so he's able to cut that away for just a small single. It brings
You just
Irvia on
keep
strike for
calling him Labuschagne. Don't call him Labuskagne because he might take a wicket then. Keep calling him Labuschagne. Australian so. We'll get away with that.
You know, I was thinking about it like expeditiously, trying to think, do I say Labuskaghni or do I say Labuschagne? But then I
Yeah.
think about the fact that he's completely Australian now. We lost to him; he's no longer South African, so might as well just keep with his Australian name, Labuschagne. That's what everyone calls
So
him.
you're sure he's a traitor?
Well, I don't think he is, because what he just bowled now is a juicy full toss to Cyril Irvia above waist height. But the ball doesn't reach the boundary, Ravi. Irvia hoiks that in front of square, goes to the cow corner, but it rolls and it stops about this much to the boundary. And it's
It's
2 runs that have been
flipping.
transacted.
No, it's flipping. What's the word for it? Not ducked. It stopped or something. It just didn't go far enough.
I don't know that word, but it didn't reach. It just stopped.
Yeah.
But he bowled the no
You
ball
must
even.
excuse me. I'm still drunk from last night. Okay,
You
I
told
had friends over last night, and I'm still drunk. 10
I
friends,
told
lots of booze. It happened.
I told
It
you,
just
Ravi,
happened.
that there's gonna be the 3 of us here today. It's me, you, and your booze. So so, so we're going forward here.
Yeah, but it's okay. So don't ask me to actually comment on the cricket. Because I cannot even see anything straight. But you know
I
why I don't like Manus Labuschagne?
let's
Besides the
see.
fact,
Let's see after this ball, because he ends his over now, Ravi. So he's finishing his third. And before you start talking, his figures are 8 for no loss in his 3 overs. I understand that it's not about scoring runs or etc., but he's doing a pretty decent job given the commentary and the work we've seen so far. And guess what, Ravi? Pat Cummins takes off his cap and he shakes
and he's
Babuma's hands. And now it's time
oh
where they have
yes,
decided that the match has been drawn. And South Africa get a point for their World Test Championship in what
WTC,
has been a
yeah.
dismal tour,
Um,
atrocious tour, but they get something from it somehow.
okay, you might do this, and I might agree with you, but you get to the Western Indies in Australia. Okay, now that
Mhm.
might not sound like much if you think of the West Indies as a crippled team right now.
Mhm.
But fact is, South Africa doesn't have batters. It just happens. So happens you get times in your history when you don't have batters.
Mm.
You know,
Mm.
and if Demba, whom I love, is the best you have, you're starting from a pretty low bar. I'm
Yep.
sorry, Demba,
It's
I
yeah.
love, but he's not that good. You know, I like Zondo, for heaven's sake. and
Yeah,
nobody else seems to like him. Everybody says he should not be in the. Obviously, I've got it wrong in some way, but I like to know what he's done on this tour. And Elgar, I've loved, but he's performed miserably in
poorly.
Australia.
Mm.
He's performed miserably, and Hervé, and so besides those four, Kyle Verena, yes, Kyle Verena has
100%.
performed. Uh, but when we say perform 100%, which of the South African batters have even averaged over 40, let alone 50, this tour in this series? You tell me.
It's been a tough one, and even if we have to go through the scorecard, it'll let you know, and it'll paint that bleak picture for you as
Yeah.
backup. If you look at it, Cyril Ervia scored 42 right at the top, but if you look at the other side, Usman Khawaja scored 195. But that's a conversation for another day. The
No,
West
no, no,
Indies will
no,
be
no, no,
coming.
no,
Yeah,
no. It's a conversation for today. Why don't you give us the scores? No,
Ravi,
why
you
don't
know,
you
you know.
give us the scores of both teams across these 5 days? No, just to because it's a good thing because we're
So
Test cricket fans.
So let's do this. Let me just run you through a brief summary of the scorecard so we can get an idea of what happened into the game, just in case someone has not watched, because we have reached the end of the game. First inning started, Australia winning the toss and electing to bat. They scored 100. They scored 475. Usman Khawaja scoring 100, Steve Smith scoring 100, Lapus Shane nearly scoring 100 with 79, and Travis Head scoring 70. So David Warner will definitely feel like he missed out. And then in return, the South Africans started very poorly, saved by Keshav Maharaj and Simon Harmer with 47 and 53. They were out for 255, and they still trailed the Australians by a whopping 220. So they couldn't avoid the follow on. And now coming into the second inning, it's Cyril Ervia who scored 42, Klaasen who scored 35, and Dean Alga struggled once again. But the main taking point here is that South Africa were able to extract some level of points for the WTC heading into the tour for West Indies. But the good thing that they might have on their luck is that the West Indies don't have a formidable bowling attack like the Australians or the English.
Also, two things. One, the weather helped hugely because one and a half days were lost due to rain. And that's why the Australians enforced the follow on. They wouldn't have enforced the follow on if they had a full 5 days to play with.
Yes.
Right?
Now, 100%.
Yeah.
And if I have to
two,
sorry.
My second point is that against the West Indies, I don't know what sort of a team they are right now. I don't know who their selectors are, who their chairman of the board is, who their coach is. But it's like a team on the ragged edge. Even at home, which perform much better at home, South Africa could roll them over. Okay? At home, in the West Indies. But I'm not sure South Africa deserved to be in the WTC finals.
You know what?
Sure.
You know what? I'm in almost agreement with you, but I'd like us to have that conversation on our full quota podcast. If we need, if there are still people listening to us, Tim Dell, Lace, and Paul Mutluane are absolute experts in these things. They know everything about the admin of South African cricket and what goes on and what selections should be made given the history, etc. So I'd like us tune in to the next full quarter podcast to check what those conversations be.
Absolutely. They are brilliant.
We will have
Tim
to
Dell,
end this broadcast.
And Paul. Okay. I'm going to sign off now. Otto, thank you so much for bringing this to us.
Thank you. Thank you so
Ravi,
much, everybody. Thank you for listening.
We had 20 more overs, Ravi, but we don't. So until the West Indies tour.
Until the West Indies tour. In which case, you guys will be ahead of me because I'm 3.5 hours ahead of you, and the West Indies is bloody another 5 hours behind me.
But aren't we playing at home against them?
Are you
We
playing
are.
at home?
It's
Oh,
an
I think
inbound
so.
series. It's an inbound series.
That'll
Yes.
be fun. That'll be fun.
Ha.
Yes. No, we're
Anyway,
playing. The first test is in Centurion. Let me just bring that up here quickly. I find it last time. International
no.
Future Series. Here we go. Future Series. West Indies will tour Zimbabwe. They're in Zimbabwe, and then they're
Yeah.
coming here.
Are
And
they in Zimbabwe? Are they playing
the
tests in
first,
Zimbabwe?
yes.
Oh,
And
good.
so they will be in Centurion on Tuesday, the 28th of February at 10 o'clock South African time, and then in Johannesburg on Wednesday, the 8th of March. The second test starts, and then there will be 1, 2, 3 ODIs and 3 T20s in March.
So, just two tests,
2022.
yeah? Just two tests.
Yes. Yeah, so lots of points on offer for the teams there.
This is interesting because the only 5-test series left is England versus Australia for the Ashes.
Yes, that's right.
England versus India, Australia versus India test series now, and most of the others are 2-test series. Do you know what the WTC has done? The World Test Championship is encourage them to play 2-test series only, because they still get the point and they get their points multiplied by it.
Yeah, and Zimbabwe, the West Indies are also just playing 2 tests in Bulawayo.
Yeah, if you play more than 1 test, it's considered a series. So why play 4 or 5 tests, or even 3? So
exactly,
it's at the test series. About it.
Right. So once again, thank you so much for listening, everybody. We hope you have a blessed Sunday, the rest of the day. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for Bendulo, Ravi, Ken for this match, and Jenna for the rest of the series, as well as Mpo and everybody else that supports us and helps us get this thing going. And we will see you back here in February, as I said, the 28th of February for the start of the Indies tour. In the meanwhile, as we mentioned, One World Sports Radio on YouTube. Make sure you switch on the notifications, and I can't wait for this series review for Tim and Mpo to pick this apart and see what they have to say. And you can comment on the broadcast while it's happening. They do the podcast live. And then the SA20, enjoy that, and we will see you back in end of Feb.
We should, because we want to big it up. We want CSA to make money, for cricket South Africa to make money, and SA20 seems the best way for it right now.
Yes, let's hope it's a huge success, and I'm certainly looking forward to it, to see what it's like. The Pretoria Capitals will be my team, of course. Even though I'm a Chennai Super Kings fan in the IPL, I'm going to switch over. It seems I'll have to switch over to the Capitals franchise. But looking forward to that. Have a good day, everybody.
No, we should try to commentate on it. But anyway,
we'll see if we can get a sponsor. We might look at that. We're talking to a few people, and we're exploring some options. So we'll see. Have a good day.
Bye bye.
Cheerio, Ravi.
Goodbye.
Bye.